From gravel stages to neon-lit city streets, three letters rewired what a humble Lancer could do. EVO. Born to satisfy rally homologation rules and refined by years of world rally success, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution took a sensible sedan and turned it into a weapon, turbo 4 up front, all-wheel drive underneath, and smart differentials that convert driver intent into grip. The recipe sounds simple: small car, big turbo, serious chassis. The magic is how each generation sharpened that idea without losing the raw feel that makes an Evo. The story starts in 1992 with Evolution I, a box-arched Lancer stuffed with the iron block 2-liter 4G63, permanent AWD, close ratios, and firm springs and dampers. It wasn't about plushness. It was about pace anywhere, especially on battered roads. Evolution II and III arrived fast, the way rally updates do. Stronger internals, better intercooling, revised cams and turbo housings, beefier brakes, and aero that actually worked. The Evo III's deeper front bumper and taller rear wing weren't cosplay. They shed heat, cut lift, and planted the car. These first three set the tone: compact, explosive, and unfiltered. In 1996, Evolution IV moved to a new platform and changed the playbook with active yaw control. S-AWC lived inside the rear differential, shuttling torque side to side to help the car rotate under power. Turn in, commit, and S-AWC tidied your line as if the car had a hint of rear steer. The IV also wore rounder bodywork for better stability. Evolution V pushed Group A freedoms: wider track, flared arches, 17-inch wheels, big Brembos, and suspension pickup points tweaked for camber control and bite on turn-in. It looked angrier because it had to be. Evolution VI refined durability and cooling for rally abuse and then earned a folk hero chapter, the Tommy Mäkinen Edition. Built to celebrate 4 consecutive WRC drivers' titles, TME brought quicker spooling turbo hardware in some markets, faster steering, subtle chassis tweaks, a lower ride height, and K wheels, and, if you dared, the iconic rally livery. It felt wired to your cerebellum without beating you up. The 2001 Evolution VII grew up. A stiffer shell made the car feel carved from billet, and the drivetrain gained active center differential to join S-AWC out back. ACD varied center diff locking on the fly, looser to help the nose bite on entry, tighter to rock it out. Snow, rain, polished city streets. The car read the surface and delivered traction like a reflex. Inside, the VII finally felt substantial, with Recaros that clamped correctly and switchgear that didn't betray budget roots. Evolution VII took the legend global. Suddenly the poster car was in driveways with real plates. The chassis gained extra bracing and smarter dampers. Response improved everywhere. Trims split the tribe by philosophy: RS for purists, lighter, fewer amenities, mechanical diffs, Mr. for connoisseurs with Bilstein dampers, extra rigidity, and in some markets an aluminum roof. Some versions offered a 6-speed manual. Others stuck with the stout 5-speed beloved by drag and track diehards. The 4G63 kept its boosterly character, but better mapping and cooling made it friendlier to use hard, lap after lap. Evolution IX was the classic recipe perfected. Mitsubishi added variable valve timing, MIVEC, to broaden the torque curve without dulling urgency. Turbo and intercooler revisions trimmed lag, while bushings, braces, and damper valving made the shell feel preloaded with intent. On a good B-road it could be devastatingly quick, yet remained a teacher rather than a tyrant, encouraging trail braking, rotation on the nose, and early throttle, while S-AWC and sticky tires translated intent into exit speed. Japan even got an Evo IX wagon that proved the magic wasn't tied to a particular silhouette. It was the system that mattered. Then came the reset. Evolution X arrived with an all-aluminum 2-liter, the 4B11T, trading some old-school character for lower front weight, modern emissions tolerance, and a fresh tuning canvas. The body gained mass but also serious rigidity and safety. Steering precision improved, and NVH dropped to something you could live with daily. Headline tech was S-AWC, super all-wheel control, a higher-level controller that coordinated ACD, AYC, ABS, and stability systems. Pick a mode and the car vector braked, shuffled torque, and locked what it needed in milliseconds. For the first time, you could pair the manual with an optional twin-clutch SSD that ripped off shifts without lifting. Driven hard, the X felt eerily neat. Less fight, more flow. The drama moved from your hands to the stopwatch. Through all 10 generations, constants tie the line together. There's always a force-fed 2-liter that sounds equal parts wastegate hiss and gravelly growl. There's always a center diff deciding how honest the car should be about power, and some cleverness at the rear to make torque do more than just push. There are big brakes, real tires, and Recaros seats that report exactly what the chassis is doing. Most of all, there's the sense, even in traffic, that every input matters. Steering as a dial, throttle as a scalpel, brake pedal as a truth serum. The culture grew alongside the hardware. The Evo's foil, Subaru's WRX STI, turned blue versus white red into an era's Coke versus Pepsi. That rivalry forced both sides to iterate and quietly taught a generation that grip isn't a single number. It's the dance between tires, torque splits, geometry, damping, and software. The Evo democratized that lesson. It hauled friends, swallowed baby seats, and then humiliated exotics in the rain. Tuners learned the 4G63, and later the 4B11T, would accept serious power if you respected cooling, fueling, and knock control, while track regulars discovered how alignment, pad compounds, and tire temps could unlock seconds. So why did it end? Regulations tightened, safety demands grew heavier, buyers drifted to crossovers, and budgets pivoted to electrification. Mitsubishi let the line close with final edition runs of the X, cars still absurdly capable, still generous with feedback, still happiest when the road was bad and the weather worse, but out of step with showroom math. The idea it proved, though, refuses to age, that brains can make modest power feel heroic, that a 4-door can be a purer driver's car than many 2-seat exotics, and that software used thoughtfully can amplify, not replace, skill. Drive any Evo and you learn to read surfaces, manage heat and boost, trust the front axle, and play the diff modes like an instrument. Line them up I through X, and the through line is obvious. I set the attitude. IV invented torque vectoring magic. V and VI stretched the fenders and the rulebook and minted a folk hero in the Tommy Mäkinen edition. VII added a brain to the center diff and maturity to the cabin. VII took the legend worldwide. IX perfected the old language. X rewrote it for the software era. There are faster cars now, and quieter ones, and wildly more expensive ones. But few give the same ratio of understanding to speed. In an Evo, the boundaries of grip, the timing of boost, and the line between tidy and untidy are all legible. That's why the name still rings years after production stopped. Evolution wasn't a sticker. It was a promise that each step would make the idea sharper. And it did.